Let's begin now.
In the late 19th century and early 20th century, America was going through a transformation to achieve industrial supremacy. There was a remarkable expansion of America's industrial economy during this time period. Many Americans at the time experienced amazement as they witnessed the changes occurring around them. America's rise to industrial supremacy didn't happen overnight. It had its ups and downs, but many factors contributed to this revolution. I, Isaac Bull, and my colleagues Miles Esty, Cody McElhenney, and Jamie Hodgson will guide you through what it took for America to be the economic and industrial powerhouse we know today.
Progress in technology and industrial development was a major theme in America during the 1800s and 1900s. One of the most important technological developments was new iron and steel production techniques. Henry Bessemer and William Kelly invented a process that turned iron into steel, making it possible to produce large quantities and dimensions for the construction of railroads. The development of the airplane and automobile were two of the most significant inventions during the time of industrial growth across America. Development of the automobile was dependent upon the growth of two technologies: creation of gasoline from crude oil extraction, and Europe's development in the 1870s of the internal combustion engine. Henry Ford began production of the automobile in 1906 and is the most notable automobile creator in American history. By 1910, the car industry played a major role in the economy. The search for flight by the Wright brothers led to the famous 1903 flight that went for a distance of 120 feet and lasted 12 seconds. The amazing feat launched the advanced development of airplanes that we know today. The science of production was a major theme that helped to support technological advancements. Principles of scientific management, fathered by Frederick Taylor, began to be employed. Taylor argued that employers should subdivide tasks to decrease the need for highly skilled workers and increase efficiency by doing simple tasks with machines. An important change in production was mass production through the use of assembly lines. Henry Ford first used the assembly lines in an automobile plant in 1914, which cut production time and prices. Consolidation occurred through horizontal integration, which was forming competing firms into single corporations, and vertical integration, which controlled production from raw materials for distribution. John D. Rockefeller's Standard Oil came to control 90% of refined oil in the U.S. through horizontal and vertical integration.
Good evening. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming to see me speak today. I am very proud and honored to be the recipient of your award. Many people have told me that it's wrong to accumulate so much wealth. I call these people poor people. You guys know what I'm talking about. Poor people are those that are along the streets in ragged clothing and the smell of urine. Well, I'll tell you what, if they mess with me, you're in trouble. There is no way I will ever give my money to people that are lazy, hopeless, and have no chance of making it in this world. That's where I come in. The reason why I am successful is because I was incredibly lucky to have parents that supported everything I did. These people, I don't know what their problem is, but I'll tell you what, it'll be my mission to accumulate as much wealth as I can so that they can't have any, because they don't deserve it like I do. There are many things I am, but nice, gentle, caring, giving, those aren't any of them. I think there is nothing less pleasurable in life than pleasure. And what is pleasure? In French, the word for happiness is le bonheur. And I think if we all go after le bonheur, this will be a better world. Thank you.
The benefits of industrialization were not spread equally, and as a result, a great deal of opposition was seen. This opposition consisted of the working class, who came together and formed a handful of notable unions. One of these unions, known as the Knights of Labor, promoted an 8-hour workday, as well as an end to child labor. The Knights of Labor were notable due to the fact that they allowed women to join, something that no other union approved of. Unfortunately, the Knights of Labor were disorganized, which ultimately led to their demise. Another union, the American Federation of Labor, or the AFL, was led by Samuel Gompers. Much like the Knights of Labor, the AFL wanted an 8-hour workday. The AFL also believed that skilled labor was far more important than unskilled labor, an idea that drove away many people of the working class. Along with these unions came a number of strikes, some of which were successful, and some of which ended with failure. The Great Railroad Strike of 1877 began after a 10% wage cut was announced. The strikers disrupted a rail service, and the state reacted by sending militia to stop the conflict. Even President Hayes sent federal troops to the commotion. The conflict ended with bloodshed, and the strike was crushed. Another strike, known as the Pullman Strike of 1894, is another example of strong opposition during this time. When the workers at Pullman Palace Car Company had their wages cut, they began to strike. These strikers caused nationwide transportation to freeze, and President Grover Cleveland was forced to take action. Once again, the opposition was struck down by federal troops.
Some tycoons were self-made men, but a lot of them just came to be wealthy as a result of ruthlessness, arrogance, and tons of corruption. Even though it doesn't seem like it, many industrialists were modest entrepreneurs trying to carve a role for their businesses in an unstable economy and highly competitive industries. With this competitive industry, it was all about survival of the fittest. Survival of the fittest deals with social Darwinism. It's basically where only the fittest individuals survived and flourished in the marketplace. This idea appealed to companies simply because, through monopolies, they were able to eliminate any other outside competition. The Gospel of Wealth. The Gospel of Wealth was written in 1901 by Andrew Carnegie and advocated the idea that with great wealth came great responsibility to use riches to advance social progress. However, there are other visions regarding this subject. There are groups that emerged challenging the corporate and capitalistic ethos. For most, this is why monopolies were so problematic. So many opposed monopolies and capitalism. They believed they didn't make any situation better. It just created artificially high prices and an unstable economy. Our next point involves industrial workers in this new growing economy. The industrial workforce grew a ton in the 19th century due to the migration from the rural areas into the city. Also because they were able to find more success this way. It also grew from foreign immigration. In the late century, most immigrants came from England, Ireland, Northern Europe, and by the end, Southern and Eastern Europeans were involved. Most immigrants came in search for success, most coming out of poverty-stricken areas, looking to escape it. They were lured by opportunity and advertisements of big companies. But ethnic tensions increased because of job displacements and a great deal of competition.
In the years following the Civil War, America propelled itself into the world as a major industrial power. Along with this change came new cities, jobs, people, cultures, technology, and a new economy. Immigration, railroads, factories, and corporations are all examples of what was seen during this new era. This abrupt and substantial change was not without opposition, and a handful of unions began to emerge in hope that reforms would be made. Unions and laborers would often demonstrate their anger through strikes, which often resulted in violence. In the end, this time period was defined by a sharp rise in industrialization, along with the pros and cons that came with it.